In this video, we're going to talk about why you should seriously consider selling your home right now. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Living in Atlanta. This YouTube channel is all about helping you understand what it's like to live in Atlanta. My name is Marc Brenner. I'm a local realtor here in Atlanta, and if you are considering buying or selling a home in the area, I would love to hear from you. All of my contact information is in the description below. We have people reaching out all the time to help them buy, sell, or rent. We absolutely love it. So please don't hesitate to shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email, or best yet, set up a consultation with me using the Calendly link in the description below. All right, so let's get into today's topic, why you should seriously consider selling your home right now, especially if you live in the Atlanta area. So I know that probably all of you have heard either from friends or from the media. It's really a water cooler chat at this point. The market is absolutely insane, not only in Atlanta, but really throughout the country. And there's a lot of talk about, is it a bubble? When will it end? Will prices ever go down? And will we ever get out of this extreme seller's market? So I just wanted to create a video. I try not to make too many that go deep into the real estate process because I like to keep it about Atlanta. But this market is literally unprecedented and historic. And so I just wanted to make a video explaining why, even if you had no plans to sell in the near future, it is really worth you understanding what your home's current value is and what the benefits could be that you may not have thought of listing your home now. All right, so first, let's talk about what's going on with the market. You hear it's a hot market, you hear that it's a seller's market. Maybe you don't really understand why that is or what people are really meaning when they say that. So this is a very simple issue, actually, of supply and demand. When there is too much supply and not enough demand, you have what's called a buyer's market, where the buyers of a home have the majority of the leverage. What we are in now is an extreme seller's market, and all that means is there are more people looking to buy than there are homes available to purchase. And it is that circumstance to an extreme degree. And to illustrate just how dire it is, share a statistic with you. The statistic that realtors and the realtor community use to determine what type of market is the months of available inventory. So the metric they use is if we put, how long would it take to sell all of the homes that are listed right now? So in a balanced market, it's going to be around 3 months to sell every home that's currently listed. In a seller's market, it's going to be maybe less than that, 2 months or less than that to sell everything in a strong seller's market. Well, we are at a point right now, statistically, where it would take us less than 1 month to sell all of the current inventory on the market. That is an historic seller's market. We have literally never had this low amount of supply for the home buyers out there. Okay, so that is why the market is crazy. That is why you're seeing prices shoot up over asking, homes go under contract the same day they're listed, and just this incredible competition. But why is the inventory so low? Well, there are a lot of reasons for that, and it's going to be very specific to the market, city, neighborhood that you're in. But let's talk briefly about Atlanta and what's going on in our city, because you probably want to know, is it a bubble? What does the future hold specifically for Atlanta? Well, the first thing I want to say is I firmly do not believe this is a bubble similar to 2007, 2008. So why do I think it's not a bubble? Well, This first bubble that caused the Great Recession was based mostly on mortgage fraud. So very lax restrictions on lending people money led to people taking on mortgages they really had no right to have in the first place, and they go under on those mortgages. And this is the bubble where you have unqualified buyers purchasing homes that they later will not be able to afford. And of course, you had the recession where people lost jobs. And so it was just this kind of never-ending cycle of foreclosure and essentially a housing market collapse. Well, I have to say the lending side of things, getting approved for a loan, even doing a refinance has never been more difficult. A big reason is the COVID-related restrictions. If you talk to a lender that you've worked with before, if you've gone through a refi recently, or if you've gone through the loan application process, it is way more involved than it used to be, especially if you're an independent contractor, business owner. You need really detailed reports, all kinds of record keeping in order to be approved for a loan. So the restrictions are definitely more in place than they were back then. And the reality is, in this current market, it's built on an actual demand from qualified buyers. And honestly, not only has COVID impacted the lending process, I think it's really given folks time to maybe save up a little bit more for that down payment and put them in a mindset that they want to move because maybe they're remote now and they don't have to do the same commute. So you have people relocating to an area that better suits their needs now that they don't have to commute. And in Atlanta, what you have is thousands and thousands of people moving here each year for a variety of reasons: the climate, cost of living, opportunity with jobs, higher education, the diversity of the job industries in Atlanta. There are a lot of reasons why this area in particular is one of the fastest growing metro regions in the country. So you have a lot of new demand, and the reality is, once we got through all that supply, back in the early 2000s, there was a lot of supply being built up. Well, in the period since the Great Recession till now, not only have we blown through that supply, we're at a major deficit, and it's going to take us a little bit of time, a few years, to catch back up. There is a lot of new construction, whether it's regular homes or apartment buildings, condominiums. So we are catching up, but it's going to take a while. There is building all over Atlanta, but the simple reality is this is a very desirable place for folks to live in and around the Atlanta area. And you have a lot of people relocating here from all over the country. And you have the people who are already here in a situation like everyone else, that there is just not enough homes for these people to purchase. And so the ripple effect of this type of bottleneck on the supply is that you're seeing prices go up. And this is one of the main reasons why you need to seriously consider listing your home. You may not realize how prices have shot up, not only in 2 years, in 1 year, in 6 months. Just this time last year, you'd be paying about 17% less than you are this time of the year. So, you're seeing increases around the Atlanta area at very crazy rates, up to 17% in certain areas, which is really staggering. And so, one of the main takeaways for this video should be for you, check out your home value. Okay, you might be way, way off. You should either talk to an experienced realtor in your particular neighborhood. You can reach out to me, and you also can I have a tool in the description where you can get a general home value estimation for free. Just put in your information and your address, and it will give you a good idea of what your home could sell for. So the reality is, your home might be able to sell for $10, $20, up to $50,000 more than you realized. And so, what kind of impact could an extra $25,000, $50,000 have in your life right now? It may be very significant, and the actual number may be much higher than that. You don't know, is what I'm saying. Is the incredible price increase is taking a lot of people by surprise. So if you're a homeowner, whether it's in Atlanta or another market, you really owe it to yourself at least to educate yourself about what you could potentially sell your home for in this market. But also, it's not just about price, okay? This massive shortage of inventory is creating a situation where the sellers have more leverage than they ever have before. And so what that means is a lot of good things potentially for a home seller. We're seeing homes go under contract within 48 hours on average these days if the home is listed properly. But there are many homes going under contract the very first day. They're going under contract tens of thousands of dollars above list price. And they're going under contract with some of the most favorable terms sellers have ever seen. And this is another reason why you should seriously consider the prospect of selling your home in this market. It is not just that you will get historically more money. You will essentially be selling at the very top of the market, which is great for money in your pocket, but also you can use and leverage the circumstances buyers will offer for whatever your situation is. So if you may be asking yourself, well, if I sell, I want to go buy, and then I'll be on the difficult part of that transaction. But what you can do is leverage the sale to make the buy side much easier. So for instance, you can list your home and put in the description that you prefer a list back agreement for a month, 2 months. I've seen them up to 3 months for free to stay in your home while you do your home search. Now, I can't guarantee you're going to get that circumstance, but all things being equal, if a buyer has an opportunity to win out because they're willing to let you stay in your home for a few months after closing, that's for a lot of people not too difficult of a concession. And so I've had many clients who have done this. They've been able to go under contract on the sale of their home, but not have to move out at closing. They can stay in their home for a month, 2 months, whatever it is, while they search for their new home that they're going to live in. The new home purchase is not contingent on the sale of their home because they've already closed on their home. And it creates a very low stress situation. Well, a lower stress situation than you would normally have because you have that list back and the sale portion of the transaction is already done. So the point being, not only is it financially a very favorable time to possibly sell your house, it's just going to be an extremely easy, high leveraged process on the sales side because you will likely not have to do very many repairs to your home. And that's another thing to think about. In a traditional market, a buyer is going to demand quite a bit when you go under contract and they get an inspection. They're going to have a laundry list of things that they want you to address before they move into the home, which is fine. That's the way that it should be so that both parties can win. Well, in this market, almost everything you see is sold pretty much as is. Now, we do negotiate for our buyers to get very important aspects of their home covered. Obviously, any major mechanical, structural issues, anything significant, roof, plumbing, electrical, foundation, we're going to have addressed. We're still protecting our buyers, but what we're not doing is nickel and diming sellers on GFCI outlets and scratches to drywall or maybe dirty carpet. Any cosmetic things, we are just flat out leaving off amendments to address concerns because the reality is for a seller, they'll probably have a backup agreement in place. They probably have multiple backup agreements so that if you terminate because you don't think they're doing enough, they'll have someone waiting in the wings who is probably fine because they understand it's a market where you have to purchase as is. So you've got the best prices possible for selling your home. You've got a situation where you can make your life easier on the buy side if you get a list back or some other scenario that's beneficial for that side of the transaction. And you also will have to do very little to your home. Now, I, of course, recommend to my sellers they get their homes clean, presentable, in great shape. We disclose any issues. We do everything above board because stuff like that always comes back to bite you if you don't. So it's not that we're being neglectful on the sales side or trying to hide anything, but we're simply not obligated to do as much as we would typically do. So overall, the process on the sales side is going to be extremely simple and stress-free. You're going to select the most qualified buyer. Hopefully it's a cash buyer, so you immediately remove the risk of a low appraisal or them not being approved for their loan, and they're going to be purchasing your home as is. Now, here's one more key point to think about. Maybe you bought a home that you love, but it has some sort of inherent defect. And it doesn't have to be a foundational issue or some major aspect of the house that's a problem for a potential buyer. You could be living off a very busy street. You could be living next to a home that has been dilapidated or distressed and doesn't look great. There could be any number of slightly off things about your home that in a more balanced or more of a buyer's market would present a big problem for you that a lot of buyers are going to overlook because there's simply less options. So I don't know what situation that is for you. You may be in a flood zone. That has never mattered less than right now. People are willing to pay flood insurance to get into a home. Whereas in a normal market, that's more of a buyer's market, flood zones can present problems. Buyers get very picky in those types of markets. They expect a lot. So that's just an example. But if you have some sort of slight inherent defect in your home that you're concerned will affect your ability to sell it, there's no better time to look at selling than right now, because buyers are overlooking things like that because of how few options they have. So to recap all the reasons we've been discussing, first of all, your home would probably sell for way more than you actually think it would right now. Seriously, look it up. If you want to close quickly, you can close quickly. If you want to stay in your home a few months after you close, you can probably do that. You're probably going to have to fix very little in your home. You're going to have to spend as little as you ever would typically in this type of market selling your home. And if your home has some sort of inherent flaw or defect, it's never been easier to have that overlooked than it is right now. And here's a couple last thoughts I'll leave you with. So number one, prices are going to come down. Okay, I told you I firmly don't believe we're in a bubble that will lead to another housing collapse. But what I am starting to see is agents get a little crazy with their pricing, and maybe that's the owner, but these high prices will not be sustained. The inventory will eventually catch up slowly but surely. And we are also having a moratorium on foreclosures be ended soon, which will provide the market with some inventory. So we are going to get some more inventory at some point in the near future. And prices can only go up so much before the consumer says this is ridiculous and we're not going to do it. And I am starting to see that. Right now is the tippy top of the market. And the whole concept of this video is very simple: supply and demand, and buy low, sell high, right? That's what you want to do in the stock market or any investment. You want to buy an asset or commodity as low as possible and sell it for as high as possible. So right now you're presented with a situation where you know you could sell your asset or commodity for as much as you've ever been able to before, and you know that that amount is going to come down pretty soon. In the next few months, after the next year, I think we'll have a very strong market through the end of the year, but you are not going to be able to get the tippy top in terms of pricing for the next few years. You've got a relatively small to medium window to get in and sell at the very top of the market. So what I really think the boss move is, you bought your home maybe a few years ago, you build up some equity, the home is appreciated, you sell at the top of the market. It's still a good time to buy. Interest rates are low. You don't have to overpay for a home. You can still get a good deal if you know where to look. So I really think the ultimate move is to go into a market that was developing, have it built up in value, you sell at the top of the market, and then go into another market where there is some extra value added in. Maybe it's a market that other consumers aren't looking at. Maybe it's an area that is rapidly changing, a next up and coming area where other consumers don't feel safe living, but you're streetwise and know what to do, and you feel comfortable living in that area. And then you've gotten maximum purchase power in that area from your home sale. That's a recipe for long-term wealth. Buying low, selling high, repeating the process. You're continually increasing your net worth, and you're really leveraging the state of the market to use to your advantage. You create a very easy and premium home selling experience. And if you're smart, you can leverage that into a less stressful and more powerful buying experience because you've got extra money from a home sale at the top of the market. So I hope that was helpful. It may not be right time for you to sell your home. All I'm saying is educate yourself about what's going on, talk to a professional about what you could sell your home for, and just give it a few minutes of thought. It may be more compelling than you realize. If you want to know the value of your home, if you want to have a discussion about what the process would look like, that's why I made this video, for you to reach out to me and my team. So would love to hear your thoughts and comments, and it would mean so much if you hit like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you found that video informative and beneficial for your situation. And thank you for watching. And until my next video, I'll see you next time.